Greetings and welcome to In Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. 34 years of city status is nothing to sneeze at. So we are going down San Fernando for all the pace and tempo for a discussion with Mayor Junia Regrello on the things that they're having to observe these celebrations. Mayor Regrello, how you do, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, and hello, everyone.
And even before we start to talk about City Week or even longer, because I hear things and I see in schedules, drunk or sober, I saw some road patching was taking place. So what are some of those areas and why those areas?
Well, we have a commitment we have made to the citizens of San Fernando to have the roads in San Fernando completely repaired by December of 2022. I must admit that they have not been in good condition. Heavy-duty vehicles coming in and out of the city considerably damage the roadway, and of course, the climate change and the heavy dump of water flowing consistently damage the roads as well. But we are committed to fixing that. And we are focusing on the inner city, which is the major thoroughfare in and out. So we're working on that. And of course, we're working on the outside area as well.
And with that, San Fernando City celebrations have begun. And may I only start off with David Rudder? Where are you going from there?
I mean, there's a high one, but really, there's a high marks. One person who came to the concert last Saturday said, Mayor, we can't get better than this now. What you're going to do? And exactly what you're saying, there was really a tremendous concert, full house, packed audience, and seeing David singing songs that we consider that that songs that we all can sing along with, and a show that you could have brought your entire family to. That was the impact of the Rudder last Saturday night. And what are we going to do? There's a series of events to follow up. This Saturday, we have Pan on the Coffee, and it starts at 9 p.m. And we come in from Royal Road west onto Coffee Street, and we end on Superior Street. We have quite a few number of bands on stream for that. They're going to be a 30-minute performance in front of WAC radio station where we're streaming live. We are streaming as far as Dubai. Could you imagine that? So the diaspora will get a chance to hear the San Fernando bands, as well as exposure for this event, as we're looking at having San Fernando identified as a tourist destination for the month of November. Because some people may have a window in November and they want to come home, may not be able to come home for Carnival or some of the other national events, but they may be able to make it to San Fernando for City Week and City Celebration. So we are working that as we really come up with this trust and positioning San Fernando as a place to be in the month of November.
I remember someone coming with me to San Fernando and saying, but San Fernando have a kind of order though, in terms of like how wide some of those places are, and you can walk, because we were on Royal Road and they were able to shelter from rain, but still go from place to place because there were a lot of awnings covering that and stuff. But let's not compare and contrast too much. But what you spoke about that window in November, what are some of the other factors that led from just saying, okay, well, we're having a City Week to a month of celebrations?
Well, you see, you have to look at understanding how the new dynamics and how the world functions and what is happening. There's Thanksgiving in the United States. Some people are not involved in Thanksgiving. They have grown up in Trinidad and they have a week with nothing to do, or a week and they want to party Thanksgiving or get out from the cold. They may want to come home. They maybe have some constraints, work-related or school-related, as the case may be, and may have an opportunity to come home. And we're going to start looking at tourism in a very holistic way. Tourism not just about having a vacation between July and August. It has to do with the convenience and the availability of time and what we have to sell. San Fernando is very unique. We are packaging San Fernando in such a way that we can make it attractive to our diaspora, particularly. And there are a huge number of San Fernandans who live in Miami, in New York, in Toronto, in this case, maybe, and would like to come home at a critical time, at a convenient time, when they can enjoy the ambience, enjoy the food, enjoy the festivals, enjoy the culture. And that's what we are focusing on.
No, you say let the celebrations begin, Mayor. And what are what is the energy like when you talk about celebrations and celebrating San Fernando and people who come from San Fernando? And this is especially coming out of the pandemic where people have felt constrained, people have been limited.
Absolutely. You started seeing it, I think, for around independence. You're seeing that burst of energy that, I mean, that have been suppressed for over 2 years. And it's who we are. Whether you want to accept it as who we are. We are very expressive. We are very energetic. We are very rhythmic in terms of how we behave. I was looking at that Wakanda movie last night, and I was saying there's so much African in us, so much Indian in us. We are very diverse, and when you pull all of that culture together, you get an abundance of energy that's ready to let loose. And if you suppress that energy for a year or two, what happens? You're heading for an eruption. And that eruption is the celebration that you see coming out of independence into Diwali, into Christmas, into Carnival. And there's that build up, that momentum that you see there. And that's what we are saying. Let this celebration begin with us. And that's what we're attempting to do. And you couldn't start better than David Rudder. Last Saturday, for those who were there at Full House concert, David left the stage. And how it's steep, and came up the stairway into the audience singing Haiti, I'm Sorry, to a standing ovation, and almost the entire audience singing along with David, note for note, line by line. And that's the impact of our appreciation for the arts, our appreciation for David in particular, and our culture. And it's one of our strengths, something that we have that is very natural with us, and something that we could promote, and something that we could sell, market as well.
And in terms of that marketing, Mayor, I want to go back to something that you spoke about in terms of packaging San Fernando a little differently, making it appealing for people who have the time, making them want to come and say, okay, well, these are some of the things that we experience. And it feels as though this is something that kind of follows the energy, I'll call it energy, that you have in terms of celebrating people, as opposed to just one day or one time, changing street names, looking at how people can see that, yes, people who I have grown up around, they think I mean something.
Yeah, we have so much to offer as opposed to sell. And we need to capitalize on it. For instance, there's so many well-known San Fernandians who have contributed to the landscape of trying to be good that we not know of. We have just commissioned the Ward Philip to write a book on the history of the arts in San Fernando. That book will be launched later this year. It's always completed, about those who have contributed significantly that we're not aware of, because we have not really worked on the historical aspect and that perspective that need to come forward. It's for those, even for students who are at school doing research to understand it. Anybody knows that where Royal Lion was born, where Shorty started his work. Shorty actually composed calypso at Library Corner on the Royal Castle. Celebrated and composed calypso. Dr. Leroy Calais started, who born almost on Library Corner on what was then Lord Street, which is now Dr. Leroy Calais Street. That historical aspect needs to be documented and never be to see and identify with. Ken Professor Fillmore, who contributed and is an international icon in the pan fraternity. There's a little street named after him. Look at it, identify with. Let's talk about Tourism Cemetery, for instance. We have so many people who are buried in our cemetery that are of significance. We have to capture their contribution, capture the historical aspect, and have it documented. We can visit there, have a cup of tea, relax inside of there. So those are things that we're working on as we develop that San Fernando Tourism Trust. And of course, let me go
run out of streets.
The waterfront development will give us another opportunity to sell San Fernando. That is a street that is improving tremendously. It has probably the most beautiful seafront we talk about, and sunset on an evening that is coming on stream, that is developing beautifully. And anybody who traverses that area and they talk about the atmosphere, the ambience, what it means, how romantic it can be, and its potential. So we are working on those aspects. There's another book that we have commissioned Professor Samru to write. It's on the history of San Fernando from 1900 to 2020. that has been documented now. There's another book that will be launched later on this year. So there are two books that we have commissioned, one on the arts and one on the history of the city of San Fernando and how it evolved. And from political, educational aspect, we have been so strong in education, strong in culture, strong in the economy, and San Fernando have contributed significantly to the development of Trinidad and Tobago and deserves recognition.
And sometimes I think when it's all said and done, when people are reading these books as they've been commissioned, they'll be saying to themselves, wait now, I didn't know that's a South woman. Wait now, I didn't know that's a South man. But we continue the conversation when we return. We continue the conversation when we return. We're speaking with him.
The idea.
Hold on, Mayor. We're going to take a short break. We come back with so much more. Welcome back. We are going in-depth a conversation with Mayor of San Fernando, Junia Regrello, and you were going to drop a piece of knowledge on me, Mayor.
Yes. So we had a promenade before anybody else in Trinidad and Tobago, Harris Promenade, in 1846, when the mayors of the city approached Lord Harris for a space and a place for leisure. Lord Harris said, yes, you can have that space, but it must be a promenade. It must be a place for the people to assemble where they can be entertained and enjoy themselves and relax. That was in 1846, long before anybody else. Do you know the idea to form the People's National Movement came in 1955 when Dr. Williams was invited the old boys of Naparima College to lecture about the arts and colonialism in Trinidad and Tobago. And an assembly of people like Beryl McBurney and Kamala Muhammad came to that meeting, and the meeting was so profound that they said, but we need to go beyond the arts. What about politics? Dr. Williams said no. 1 year after was the formation of the People's National Movement. That kind of formation need to be outside there, so San Fernando get its reward and its understanding and its appreciation for the contribution we have made to the development of Trinidad and Tobago.
When people say South is love, they're not saying it in joke. But give me a little idea about the schedule of events now. So it's more than a week, it's a month. So what are some of the things happening in the month?
It's a month of celebration. So if you couldn't come in the first month, first week, you have the second week, and you have the third week and the fourth week. So this week, this Friday, Saturday, as I mentioned, we have the pan on the coffee, pan on the move, and we're rolling. So to come on your flats, you come out the door heels, come on your flats, and come right the chip down the road. And when you reach in front of WAC, if you have friends in Toronto or in Miami or in London or in Dubai, say hello to them because we'll be streaming live. And all the major bars have big screens to see what's happening on Coffee Street. The following week, we have the biggest juve on the morning of the 19th of November. We are assembling on Royal Road next to WTU. And again, onto Royal Road, onto Coffee Street, onto Superior Street, and the second class ground. We start at 4 a.m. and it's completed at 9 a.m. We don't want to interfere the business place, so we're moving very, very early. So by the time you get to have the 8 o'clock and you open your stores, we come and we go on. And we have the biggest juve bands in Trinidad and Tobago. We have 14 bands. Some of the bands come in with just 2,000 masqueraders on Juve morning. We talk about the energy, we talk about the celebration, and we're ready for them. So if you can't get a spot to play the bands are advertising. You have bands in Coquille, bands in Monrepo, bands in Pleasantville and around the inner city, bands on Sutton Street. Find a band, find a space, get into the action, and enjoy yourself because we're ready and we're celebrating. The following week, which is the 26th, we have, no, the 20th, sorry, we also featuring Terry Lyons at Naparima Bowl on Sunday, 20th of November. Terry Lyons coming with of course, Daddy Lion coming with her, the super himself, coming to mash up the place. And you have Crow, you have Sugar Aloes, you have so many others. There's a huge cast. I want to thank Terry Lyons and her team for partnering with us as we celebrate City Month. And Terry's coming with a bundle of energy. Naparima Bowl will be bursting with energy on that evening. Sunday the 20th, the show starts at 4 p.m. Tickets are available at the bowl and box office around the city. The following week, we have the military parade, which starts on the wharf onto High Street, and all the security agencies are coming out on that morning. and it's an expression of the agencies and what the capacity and capabilities are. They come up High Street onto Coffee Street, and they will end on Royal Road. So we are asking, the city to come out and give the support to the young children, see what the military arm is and what they can do. Normally that happens on Independence Day in Port of Spain, but it's our time to showcase the military arm and what the people are doing. We also have a car show on crossing on the 27th. Those vintage vehicles are coming to showcase, what they have done, how they have modernized these vehicles. And that's an amazing experience. And that's one of the biggest events that we are going to have. There's also a Parang Suka Lime that is in aid of the Torres Mohammed Foundation. That's also on the 27th. And the event of them all, the male's charity ball on Saturday the 26th at the auditorium. The ladies have to come in the dandan and the men in the black tie. And as you look like you have one already. And our last event as well is the South Triad K9 Club, all breed dog show. So we cater for every aspect of activities for our month of November 2022.
And who are some of the partners involved in this month of activity? Because I was going down the road, passing by that same area on crossing Mayor, and the children were saying, look, a car license plate PF. Not even three letters. So that's just one of them, I'm sure. But who are some of the other people coming together to make sure this comes out?
There are some, and somebody went on social media and said that going to cost us was $75 million. I think today you can't even have $17.5 million. Well, we will not take taxes. There's money to do this type of work. This is really a collaboration by so many San Fernandians and well-wishers and stakeholders who understand the value of this, the benefit of, and how this can extend into a profit margin for them. So many stakeholders are working with us. They are the business sector, the greater chamber, private individuals, the various ministries they are all supporting this. This is not the Mayor's charity fund. Project fund is also very much, I would say, carry about 70% of the cost for this. So when your vehicle get wrecked and the Mayor charity fund gets $200, it goes back into the culture, it goes back into the arts, it goes back into charity. That's where the bulk of the money is coming from. David Runner show was a success. There's a profit from that. We also have a Senior Citizens Day where we're inviting all the senior citizens who would have contributed and now at a stage where they may be not mobile as they used to be. We're going to wine them and dine them for one day. That's also be sponsored by the Mayor's Charity Fund, India's Project Fund. They'll be brought, vehicles will be bringing them from the various communities to the city auditorium. They'll be given breakfast, they'll have the nails done, the hair done, the face done, they'll have the soirees coming in to do the tests to make sure that they're healthy, make recommendations. So we cater for one and all.
I really like the fact that the month seems so holistic in terms of the amount of activities it has. And I see in a piece of method, I see a little of the method and the madness now, Mayor, in terms of turning a profit with that concert at the beginning of it to help fund other things that are taking place. But in terms of
we did extremely well, more than we anticipated. You see, we have this view that when we do events, everything is subsidized by the state. The state takes care of our electricity, our water, our gas, and everything. But we have to be self-sufficient and independent. If something's well planned and well executed, all our events are structured in such a way that it becomes a profit for us. And that's where we are, and we're doing extremely well. I'm going to do a report to council this morning on the David Runner concert, where it was really outstanding, and the benefits of that goes into other events, and it does overlap until we complete the exercise.
And I'm grateful he actually had the opportunity to say that and state it overtly, but also stating overtly because we have just about a minute and a half more. You can't run for mayor again. So what are some of your thoughts and the works that you would have been doing in terms of like highlighting those efforts? And you're happy to take a rest and do something else a little bit?
Well, before I hear you say I can't run for mayor again, that was very funny. I didn't know that. I am, first and foremost, I'm a San Fernandian. I am a passionate San Fernando. San Fernando is very dear to my heart, and I don't think I can live anywhere else. So I have a responsibility to leave here better than how I met it. As first. if you ask what are my prioritized projects, I'm working on returning Harris Promenade into the pristine Harris Promenade we all once knew. And that's a project I'm working on. Those 2 books that we commissioned, I'd like to complete that. So those are my major projects. And of course, make and reduce traffic considerably in and around San Fernando. So those are my pet projects. And I think the library corner is also very iconic. And a library corner should be more effective than what currently exists. It has a space for cultural expression. We have left that space for the library itself. We have made that a pedestrian walkway. I would like to tile that area, change the facade of that area, and make it more aesthetically pleasing to the eyes, where we could assemble. We know the Ministry of Planning had sponsored a concert there for independence, and it was amazing how we were able to have all these performers there. And because of it's the only place in the world where you have 8 streets meeting at a junction. And if you know the area well, you have Point-a-Pierre Road, Black Peak Hill, Coffee Street, Mucrapo Street, Harris Promenade, High Street, Ken Fillmore Street, Bobby Muhammad Street. They're all coming into a junction right there. So it is a space that has tremendous potential and develop into like you have Piccadilly Circus in London, Trafalgar Square. You have those areas in identified spaces in countries that you know exactly where it is and what can happen. So you say zooming live or moving live from Library Corner, you know exactly, just come to your mind, Library Corner, the clock, the library itself, the iconic building itself, the area, what it represents. So we like to establish there as a place for events and a place that can be recognized. You know, for instance, if you see a certain statue, you know, in Brazil, you see something in those Times Square, something you know is Trafalgar Square. You know those spaces that you identify with. Library Corner is that iconic place that we want to identify San Fernando with. So make it a place that you can easily recognize locally and internationally.
And your excitement is contagious, Mayor. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing and the work that you will continue to do. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, I'm Dike Rostant. This has been In Depth. Thank you so much for joining us.